Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Brian's Bench. Today's topic is why I like coming home to no one. In fact, I talk about that in my book here, 20 Ways to Enjoy Living Alone. In chapter 6 here, why I like coming home to the peace and quiet. I worked as an airline flight attendant for almost 20 years, and as much as I love my job, and I loved it, when I came home, I wanted to want to relax, peace and quiet. The noisy airports, noisy hotels, the whole thing is just constant noise all day long. And again, I love the job, but when I'm home, I want peace and quiet, which is why I like living alone. However, I did have pet cats for a long time. I had a female cat that lived with me for over about 20 years, and another cat lived for about 4 years. My male cat lived about almost 8 years, but no people. And the thing is, I lived in Ocala, Florida, on the outskirts of Ocala, Florida. And when I moved there back in 2008, it was very quiet. Nobody around me, just one house close to me. That was it. Homes scattered about, but that was it. I could take long walks and see nobody but animals, which is a really quiet place to live. I loved it. I just loved it for 10 years. And then all of a sudden, in 2021, here come all the bulldozers, all the tree removals, and here comes all the construction. It all came apart. So the peace and quiet I loved was gone. But the house that I lived in was just great. Again, I come home to peace and quiet, except for my cats, and that was it. But here comes the construction. In 2021, I said, I'm going to have to move on. So finally, in 2024, I sold my house and moved to Mississippi, and here I am. So again, I live I live alone for most of my adult life, and I loved it because coming home to peace and quiet is so important to me. Again, because I worked a very long and long days. When I was working as a flight attendant, I'd be gone for 3 or 4 days at a time, and I love the job. But when I'm home, I want to be just quiet. No, not a bunch of stuff going on, no drama, nothing like that. Which is why I never pursued a relationship. Yes, I dated for some at some times. Um, did different women at certain times in my life, but nothing that really was a long-term thing. 'Cause I knew it just wasn't for me. However, having said that, people ask me all the time, "Are you lonely? Do you must be lonely all the time?" No, I'm not, because I'm busy with my projects. I have a lot of yard work to do here and everything else. So writing books, doing that, of course. But the main thing is that you have to be very independent and enjoy your own company, which I talked about that before. So when coming home, it's just so important to me not to have any stuff going on. When I came home after a long trip, I've gone for 3 or 4 days or longer sometimes. When I get home, oh, I was just so happy to just be home, relax, the peace and quiet. So if you work like a tough job, you come home after heavy traffic all the time, long commute, which I know how that is, it's tough to come home to more noise, more problems. So this is why I loved living alone, because the peace and quiet was important to me after working at noisy airports, noisy hotels, and everything that went along with that. So that's why it was important to me. However, now, a few days ago, a stray dog came into my yard. I was mowing my lawn outside here. Here, the stray dog just came right into my yard, and here he is right here. I'm trying to find a home for him. Um, Hopefully, I can do that. But anyway, other than that, where I live now is a quieter place than it was, in Ocala, Florida. And that's important to me. Peace and quiet is important to me, which is why I like living in a country, rural area versus living in a town or a city. That's what I like doing. That's the way it is. We'll talk about more in upcoming videos about what led up to all this. But if you like the peace and quiet, that's great. So just enjoy it. If you work a tough job, tough commute, it's okay to come home, live yourself. relax and enjoy the day and enjoy just unwinding from the day and just relax. That's what I like to do. That's all I want to say about this. We'll talk about more about coming up videos, about living alone, what goes into that, many different aspects of that. Coming up soon here on Brian's Bench. Have a great day, everybody. Take care for now. Take care now. Bye bye.